Have you ever seen one of those videos on social media where people tear their muscle mid-set and thought to yourself like, hell nah, I ain't never doing that exercise again. I hope that never happens to me, that's crazy. Well yeah, recovery from a muscle tear can be up to a year approximately, but usually it's about 6 months, depends on which level of muscle tear you experience because there are three levels, but we will talk about that later. So in this video, I will tell you my tips on how to prevent muscle tears, so how to do everything you can to basically stop them from happening. Well, you'll never be 100% sure, but you can do a few things to lower those chances as to make them as small as possible. So first of all, take your warm-up very seriously. Now, it has happened to me countless times that I came to the gym and I thought to myself, I'm not gonna warm up today, or I'm gonna do a little light warm up, and then I injure myself like an idiot. So what happens is I recover from that injury. It's usually a smaller injury, but it's still an injury. So I have to either not train or train weekly for a couple of days, sometimes even a couple of weeks. And when I recover, I think again, it can't happen 2 times in a row, right? And then I get injured again. So for a warm-up, I would recommend you do 3 sets of the exercise you're about to do, and the weight should be about 50% of your working set. Unless it's a PR, then you start a bit lower. And it doesn't matter how many reps you do, it just matters that it's not anywhere close to failure, basically. So for tip number 2, have good technique. Now, I don't just mean when you do a deadlift, have your back straight. I mean when you do, for example, a press movement, make your negative as slow as possible. It doesn't have to be that slow as much as it has to be controlled, because then your reps will be harder. You will be forced to use less weight, and also the studies have shown that if you take your negative slower and pause when your muscle is stretched, that is very good for hypertrophy. So not only that you will lower your chances for injuries, but you will also have more hypertrophy. So for tip number 3, train in a warmer environment, in a warmer gym, I'd say. It doesn't have to be hot, you don't have to sweat like a pig, but one thing is that some studies have shown that training in cold environments can impact on your aerobic power as well as strength. One of those studies will be in the bio of this video, because I like to put the studies in the bio because there's a lot of scammers like VShred. So in any case, one of the studies is done by Comprehensive Physiology, and I will put all the screenshots on screen so you can see them exactly. Those are the important parts. If you want to read the whole study, it's gonna be in the bio. So, how to treat a torn muscle. How to recover as fast as you possibly can without having to pay for physical therapy, because I couldn't pay it, I'm broke. And I will give you some of the tips I have used, and I will give you only the ones that I noticed work, because I have tried many and many of them made me feel uncomfortable and made the injury even more painful than it was. But some of them are actually pretty helpful. So for the first tip, I would say get plenty of sleep and rest. Why? Because when you get a flu or when you're sick, you sleep as much as possible, right? Because your body tells you to sleep in order to recover faster, because most of your body recovers when you sleep. When you're stressed out, your body recovers when you sleep. When you get micro tears in your muscle every day when you work out, they recover mostly when you sleep. So take your sleep seriously. I would recommend sleeping about 10 hours a day, maybe even a bit more, but it's not that serious of a thing. Let's say you have a big virus or something, or a disease, so you had to sleep like 12, 13 hours a day, for example, so that will go away as quick as possible, because it could be even life-threatening, for example. But a muscle tear, that's gonna go by itself. You just want to recover a bit faster, right? So 10 hours a night sleep, maybe 11 even. And for the second tip, I would tell you to still have very good nutrition. So what does that mean? Take a lot of vitamins and minerals. Why? Because simply said, vitamins and minerals are like the tools builders use to make buildings. So to clarify, they work in a way that every process of your body uses vitamins and minerals as support to that process. I mean, that's as simple as I can say it. I really can't go more simple. So you will recover faster if your nutrition is on spot, because of the first few days of my recovery, I didn't eat at all because I was pretty sad. I realized the body dysmorphia is gonna kill me. Every time I went to sleep, I closed my eyes and I just heard some voice say, "You look like shit." And I opened my eyes and there's nothing. And I closed them again and I hear, "You should hop on steroids." And I opened my eyes and I realized that's a sign. And then I wake up and I realize it's all fucking bullshit. And yeah, I realized it's just body dysmorphia because now I'm getting smaller actually, because I don't work out, because I can't work out with a torn muscle. I could barely stand up straight. And instead of being disappointed with slow progress, I was even more disappointed because I actually lost a lot of muscle during that process. So once I started eating good, once I started taking my vitamins again, and once I started eating mineral and vitamin dense foods, I did notice that I do recover a little bit faster, which is questionable, but then if you use common sense, you will realize that it is true. So for tip number 3, expose the injury to cold. Whether it's putting ice on it, whether it's cold baths, for example, it will help you recover. You have heard probably a lot of people say that cold showers are good for recovery, because they are, that's a proven fact. But they are bad for hypertrophy, so you shouldn't do them before or after a workout. But now you do not work out because you have a torn muscle, because you were a dumbass and you didn't take your warm-up seriously, or your ego lifting or whatever. So now you gotta stick with it. Now you have no hypertrophy and now you lose muscle. So the best thing you can do is recover as fast as possible. And I myself started doing cold baths about 30 minutes a day at around a week into my recovery, and I did notice that I had a lot less pain and more mobility when I started doing those cold showers. So for the tip number 4, I do have use the torn muscle, but use it progressively, little by little. So for my spinal erector, I was trying to bend as much as I possibly can where I feel discomfort to a level, but I don't feel a lot of pain. And what does that do? Basically, it's like when you go to the gym and you work out, your body makes your muscles stronger because it realizes that you use those muscles. But in this case, it makes the muscle recover faster because the body also realizes that you use those muscles and they need to be recovered in order to use them. So with that being said, those were some of the best things I did, some of the things where I felt the most progress. There were a couple small things which I wasn't even sure that did help me because I didn't see any big difference. But there is a chance that if you tear your muscle, it's gonna be completely torn off the bone, which wasn't in my case. I just had some of the fibers torn. But if you do tear the whole muscle, you will need to get surgery most likely. I am not 100% sure, but in that case, don't listen to this shit that I have said. Then just go see a physical therapist, and you're gonna have to pay some money in order to recover as efficiently and as fast as possible. But if it's a stage 1 or stage 2 tear, which stage 1 is if it's less than 10% of the muscle, stage 2 is if it's less than 90% of the muscle fibers, and stage 3 is if it's completely torn off the bone. So if it is stage 1 or stage 2, you can use these tips that I give you to recover faster because they have helped me. I do have a friend that tore his trapezius. He was recovering for 6 months. He didn't even train at all, and it took him about 8 months to actually start doing back workouts again. And for me, it took me a month to start doing some back workouts. Well, it was pull down movements, and it did take me a solid 2 months to start doing row movements or deadlifts. I never did again because I'm terribly afraid now. But the rowing movements I do, and it only took me 2 months to start doing them again. And I went to the gym 2 weeks after I tore my muscle, and I just did incline bicep curls, and I did leg extension and hamstring curls because that's all that I could do. So yeah, those are the tips. Now you should be smart and learn from other people's mistakes and never tear your muscle because trust me, it's not the pain. It doesn't even hurt as much. It's not that you're unable to do everyday things for weeks. It is the body dysmorphia and the shit need to take a lot of anabolic steroids that not many people can resist. And trust me, I barely resisted it. I didn't. I'm just kidding. I did, but barely. So yeah, and now I wear oversized t-shirts because I am terribly afraid of my body without a pump. So I shower in oversized shirts. I sleep in them. I don't go out in anything that's above my elbows. And the only case of which I don't have a shirt on is literally when I have a pump. And you do not want that if you don't already have it. So yeah, stay safe, don't tear your muscles, and be smart. And that's it for today's video.